How's it going, everybody? I'm doing an eating breakfast and rambling vid here today. I've got some sausages, bacon, hash browns, similar to the other breakfast video I did. I just didn't put eggs in this time. Got some water. I was gonna say something. Excited, we got our concert on Friday. We're going to Medieval Times on Saturday. Should be a solid weekend. These are still hot. I should say very hot. I poured it yesterday. Again, thankfully I was able to cut some of the top one. I need to finish the rest. I cut the little bag, and I was like, you know what? It looks like it's going to rain. Let me try to cut as much as going up top as possible. I probably did like 60% of it, and then I started to get soaked. I was like, fuck it. I've been getting comments about the beep again recently, the camera beep. It did pop up in the, I don't think it popped up in the, well, it's not, it wouldn't have gone up yet as me recording this because I've been recording videos just to kind of get ahead of the game for when we leave on Friday. So I have videos kind of ready to go, although I might give myself Saturday or Sunday with no video. But it was audible in the Premier League and the movie reviews. I don't think it popped up in the PS2 video I did, and I don't know if it's popped up in this. Sometimes it just doesn't pick it up. This laptop. The Knicks are in the NBA Finals. They swept the Cavs. The Thunder won Game 5 against San Antonio, so they're up 3-2. Vegas swept Colorado to make it there in the NHL Finals. The Hurricanes are up 2-1 on Montreal. I was shocked by that. So, third final for Vegas in 9 years of existence. Which is pretty crazy. Although, other teams have had success. Expansion teams. I think the Islanders came in 72-73 is the Islanders' first season. Now, they were not good for like 2 years, and then they got really good fast. And then, within 10 years of their existence, which would have been 82-83 season, they already won 3 cups, and then they won the 4th in 82-83. So, and they were good before that, too. They lost a couple, whatever they were calling it, division final, whatever the fuck they were calling it before that. And then it went downhill. The Islanders made 5 cups in a row, and it was all downhill after that. They've had a little bit of success after that. They made a conference final in 92-93, and then the back-to-back ones, the COVID year, and then that other weird year afterwards, and a couple of second rounds here and there. But Vegas is a good start to their franchise. A lot of people hate them. I don't know why. I don't care either way about Vegas. I'm not like, oh my god, I hate them or I love them or anything. They're another team in the league. And that was fast. I'll ramble here for like 10 minutes or something. Why not? No egg shortens the video significantly. What else? I said Backrooms comes out Friday or Wednesday, I don't know. Or today's Wednesday when I'm filming this. I don't know if it's Friday, though. It's the 29th, right? That comes. I know some movies open up on Wednesday, but that's out. That Disclosure Day comes out soon. The movie looks okay, but I don't know. I know it's Spielberg, and people are like, but I'm not saying it wouldn't be good or not, but for the trailers for me are just not doing anything for me. I don't know. The Backrooms, though, looks good. Looks weird. I know. I guess that was I always thought it was a game. Apparently they were like YouTube shorts or just shorts on online, little short videos. Did it become a game at some point too, though? I don't know. I always assume stuff is a game. It's like kind of smaller stuff. And this Evil Dead Burn comes out not that long. I don't think. There's a lot of like horror-ish movies coming out. Once again, not at the time of year you'd think. There's 2 times a year I think of when I think of horror movies. Really like October, even just the fall season, but October in particular, right? Just Halloween, all you just, that's more of a mental thing, I guess. But the kind of fall, September, October, we'll say, and January, February as well. Because a lot of times, and this has happened for years, there's always like a couple of horror movies, especially the paranormal types, coming out in like a January, February. That's been like that for a long time. And there's always like a possession movie that comes out in like January. I always associate like January, especially January, but February as well, as like some kind of horror type movie is gonna come out. But I guess it doesn't really matter. It's not like, it's just for a personal thing. I think a lot of people are like that, but it's not like like Obsession, right? Or even Passenger. Passenger more so I could see being in October. Obsession doesn't matter when it comes out. It has no attachment to any season. Passenger doesn't really either, but it just has more of that feel. But like I said, the greatest example was that second Haunted, that Haunted Hansen. Oh, remember that Haunted Hansen movie based on the band that came out? The one kid was possessed the whole time. Haunted Mansion movie, the second one, or the remake or whatever. That came out. We saw it in the theater, and I liked it. Actually, I liked it quite a bit. And it came out in August. Like what? And that movie bombed spectacularly. If it came out in, I bet you if it came out in October, it would have done probably another $100 million. It came out in August. Like what? No, summer is really not the time for a horror movie. I feel like June, July, August should not have horror movies out in them. Those 3 months shouldn't have horror movies because they really don't fit. Winter makes sense in a way. Actually, it probably actually makes more sense than fall to have a horror movie out. It's cold. It's creepy. It's overcast, and not everywhere, obviously, but, you know, a lot of states in the U.S. I don't know the weather for a lot of other countries, but I do know winter is, you know, typically in a lot of countries, the colder months are, at least January and February are typically cold in a lot of places, I feel. I could be wrong. Obviously, North America, it certainly is. And stuff, but, you know, I feel like winter makes more sense for it, actually more so than fall. Hope when we get back, we get some good weather. We can get in that pool. Get some nice 90-degree weather here, maybe in June. We had like 4 or 5 days of 90-degree weather. I think it was last week, and it was disgusting yesterday when I cut the lawn. It was only in the mid-70s, but it was so muggy, it was disgusting. And I didn't realize this because in New York, well, specifically Long Island where I was, you would get fog, but not all the time. Fog was like, you know, from time to time. Down here, at least in Asheboro, I would assume the rest of North Carolina too, you get a lot of fog down here, man, a lot. And I guess it goes with the weather and stuff, and how the way the weather is, but just like when we went to see the movie, it was foggy. Last week, I think it was last week, one morning, it was thick fog. I couldn't even see the house across the street. We get a lot of fog down here, pretty decent amount of fog, like throughout the year. I don't mind fog, but it was just something I picked up on. I was like, I didn't get a lot of fog. I also want to get back up in those little mountains too, and take walks up there. I was watching a lot of that. I was looking up some stuff on the mountains and stuff, and just looking at trails and shit. And then I saw trail videos and people hiking. And I was like, I gotta get up there. Oh, again. I don't know if I mentioned this on any videos. I don't think I have. Maybe I have. But this is specifically for England and Scotland as well, and Wales. So I guess it's the UK. I like how I say that right. I don't know if Northern Ireland has them, or Ireland in general, or anywhere else. But I believe they do. France might, actually, because these things, if you're in the UK, you're going to know them, obviously. Maybe not, but they have all the canal system in the UK. Especially England. England has a really serious canal system. Scotland apparently has them too, and Wales as well. And maybe France does, because I'm talking about narrow boats. I came across narrowboats. I first saw narrowboats in the Peep Show. The show Peep Show. It's a British comedy, and they were on it at one point. They were just on hanging out on a narrowboat. I'm like, what the hell is this thing on the canal? Like, this is cool. What is this? And then I looked up on it, and then I got back into it not too long ago, where I was finding videos left and right of these people's narrowboats, tours of them. They're going up and down the canals all over the place. Wide beam ones that can't get into certain canals. They can only go into certain ones. They have smaller ones, longer ones. They got to go through the locks. They come across locks that they got to go through. And just all this canal boat life and how it works and what you're paying a month. And they have the boats that come by with the coal, and they can fuel you up and shit as well. So you call them and ask, I need this, and here comes a boat that has all that for it. You get water points where you can fill up your water, and how it all works. And they're really cool. I would live on one of these fucking things. I was like, I get over to England, and hopefully we do, because now with all the prices going up and shit, it's gonna be more expensive, but we'll see. It's not gonna happen. Most likely, if it happens, it's going to be 27. We originally were aiming for like a late 26, but even 27, that kind of mid 27 was in play too, because that's why I was looking at the weather for England as well, because I was like, okay, when is it like, hot and stuff. Like, it doesn't get hot, I feel, in England as consistently as it does in some of the states here. Most of the states still get hot. Like, even Long Island got disgustingly hot in summer. You'd get 90s fairly consistently, and the humidity was awful. It was muggy as shit. Like, Long Island summers are not, they're fucking hot. Like, they are. They'll peak as hot as like a Florida or the South, but just not at the same rate. You're going to get more hot weather days in the South than you are in the North. And I can only specifically say Long Island, but that's where I lived. But you'll get nasty, disgusting days throughout the summer, just not as many. In Florida, it's more consistent. We'll say Florida specifically, it's more. And even down here, it's more consistent. And you also have the times where you can get 90-degree days in like April, which is cool. And 80-degree days in February, which is fucking awesome. You're not really getting that in New York. Every blue moon, you'll get a 75-degree, 80-degree day during the winter. But I know I feel like it doesn't get like in the 90s Celsius. I don't know what it would be in Celsius. 25 Celsius is like 80-something degrees, right? Is that like mid to high 80s, 25 Celsius? I don't know. But I'll go by Fahrenheit because that's when I looked it up. It was showing me. You could switch it back and forth. So in Fahrenheit, I saw a lot of their peak months are like high 70s, maybe low 80s. So I was like, okay, maybe like a May, June, July. I don't mind it as long as the thing is, I don't mind if it's cold. I don't want it to be dreary, but I don't mind if it's cold. I can handle the fucking cold. It's not a problem. And I don't know if their cold is awful. Like I said, anybody from the UK, England in particular, let me know the weather there. You can tell me in Celsius, and I will just look it up. Or just say it's hot, and it's this in Celsius. Oh no. What do we, is US, is there like a few countries that use Fahrenheit? US is one of them. But yeah. Let me look it up right now. I got the phone over here. This has gone on for long. I'm rambling, baby. If you don't like the gum, you're getting rambling here for a little bit without chewing at all. Chewy? 25. Let's see if I was close. Celsius. No. 25 Celsius. Why is it not coming up? Did I spell it wrong? 25 degrees Celsius is 77 degrees Fahrenheit. So I was off. I guess like 27, 28 is probably, I could have kept looking. So I was off. It was 77. I was off by like 5, 10 degrees. By about 10 degrees. Let's do it. Let's do some more. 27 Celsius is 80 degrees. Okay, so 30. 30 is 86. I was off. 30 is high 80s. So, which I don't need that. We don't need that. It could be in the 70s. It could be in the fucking 60s. I don't like. I know it would be, people deal with weather with what they're used to. You know what I'm saying? So, like for now, because my blood hasn't thinned out yet completely. The cold weather here is sometimes I'll admit I'm like, I don't want this anymore. You know, but I go out there in 20 degrees. I can do what I need to do, and it gets cold down here like that. Unfortunately, it will dip into the 20s and the teens as well, which sucks. I don't want that. No, it's got to be in at least the 30s. No, but I'm used to that from being in New York. We got plenty of super fucking cold days. But yeah, these narrow boats are really cool. Like, I'm just like, dude, I would live on this if I had the money. I'd be like, moving over there. We're moving over there. My fiance would have to come. I'm just leaving. We'll get a 50-foot narrow boat. Maybe we'll even get a wide beam. And then we're restricted to certain canals. But I thought, because some people say, I take my canal boat over to France. So if you live in France and you happen to watch canals, do they have their canals as well that people go on? I don't know. But I was looking up all the rules, the license you have to get and stuff like that, and how much it costs per, fuel. But a lot of people have solar panels, so they get a lot of good energy during the summer months, and then they have to rely more on like their wood stoves or their coal stoves and stuff. Their heating, and then they got to run the engine, to charge the batteries and stuff. A lot of stuff. It was cool as shit though, like totally cool. These people are, and you have a mooring where you can moor. You have your home mooring if you pay for it, and you're paying a month for that. And you can stay there, obviously, for as long as you want. But if you're, what do they call it? Like not constant, but you're just a cruiser, kind of. You're cruising. You don't have a home mooring. So you can moor up wherever you want on the canals, I guess, where there are specific, I don't know if there's specific mooring spots, or you can just go anywhere. You moor up anywhere, but you can only stay 2 weeks in these spots if you don't have a home mooring. You don't pay for one, and then you gotta leave, and you gotta travel like 30 kilometers in one direction a year or something. So there's stuff going by. They have people that go by. You have a little license plate type thing. They said people go by and they check and like, okay, they're here. But if it's like iced up, because the canals will ice in the winter, if they ice up, or if there's I think if like you're sick or something, you can stay longer. They don't expect you to leave in the ice because you will ruin your boat and the canal. And I also saw one where a canal breached. This was nuts. I saw the video on this. This guy heard noises, and of course, it always happens at night. This kind of shit. You never noticed that? This kind of shit always happens at night, I feel. All of a sudden, everybody's like yelling. Because a lot of people moor next to each other. They're very close. And supposedly a really nice community. Everybody helps each other and shit. But all of a sudden, there was like a breach. So the water just all of a sudden started coming out of this canal. And all of a sudden, they showed the video, the one boat was teetering on the end because it collapsed like a sinkhole, but not a full sinkhole. Like it went down maybe like, I don't know, 10, 15 feet, maybe, I don't know, fully out. But it wasn't like that guy in Florida who literally died. A sinkhole opened up. This is a problem in Florida. It's not, I mean, it's probably all over the world, but sinkholes will open up in Florida, and they just swallowed this guy in his household, and he died. He just went into the earth, however far down. You couldn't even get to him because they're like, it could open up further, and then we're fucked. I think he was sleeping. Once again, it happened at night. It's scary as fuck. This thing opened, and you see the boat teetering, and then eventually it did go down into it. Maybe it was like 10 feet, but they showed the aftermath. Obviously, there's a dip. The water was gone. Nobody got hurt or anything. I think maybe the one guy got a little hurt, but there was no deaths or anything. But their boats, I don't know if their boats were ruined or not. I don't know how you get them out of there. Probably get a crane to get them out of there, but I didn't see like the aftermath of everything months later or anything like that. But just fascinating stuff. If any of you have been on one, you live on one, I don't know. I would live on. There's a sense of like being hidden on those, which I always like, the sense of being hidden. It just looks like a cool thing you see in the swans. I didn't know there were so many Canadian geese over there. I was like, look, holy shit. And a lot of swans and the ducks, the classic ducks, the male and female duck, that you see everywhere. They are everywhere. I guess they migrate all over the place. And the geese as well. Do you call them Canadian geese over in the UK? Let me know. That's what we call them here. I remember on Long Island they culled them because there was so fucking many. Long Island has so many. They're like, we gotta cull them. Everybody's like, what the fuck? I swear they did this. They came back and forth. They're like, oh, you're gonna kill a bunch of us. All of a sudden there was more. They're like, oh, really? We're gonna breed now at an even faster rate. There's a lot. There are some down in North Carolina, not many. We have seen them, but not. Long Island, they're everywhere. Whatever state, or Canada obviously has them. But whatever state you're in, let me know if you get a ton of Canadian geese. Or if you're in Canada, whatever province you're in, let me know if you just have more or less. It depends. Like, do they like certain provinces more? I don't know. And you see them with their little babies. You see, they go nuts. They're like, hey, I guess they breed a ton. I was like, good for them. Oh, you're going to kill a bunch? And now they come back 3 times as many somehow. They're like, oh, really? It's like when you cut a plant or a tree. It's like, oh, really? We're going to grow back in different spots, but we're going to grow back bigger. But anyway, I rambled for this was an eating breakfast video for about 8 minutes, and then I rambled for almost 20. Soft-spoken ramble. I'm going to have to call it, well, I kind of whispered. It's like an in-between whisper and soft-spoken is what I get at a lot these days. But anyway, thanks everybody for checking this out.